Funsie, we're here. We're back together again. If you didn't know, past few episodes, I mean, we skipped an episode, but the past episodes were pre-recorded, if you weren't aware, because we were all traveling and stuff like that, so we had to pre-record some stuff. Yes.
Yeah, it went back far enough that I guess we were.
Jamie, you were literally in Arkansas during Worlds when we were trying to record.
Oh, true. You're
like,
right, you're
what?
Right.
Yeah.
So
but
yeah,
we're all back together, man.
Correct.
I'm getting to see these boys' faces. It'll be nice to catch up a little bit because I don't think we've talked for 3 to 4 weeks, something like that. So yeah, you guys can listen in on it.
Well, I will say, I'll start here. I will say, our tier list thing already has 500 views out of left field. I think we got some of the YouTube algorithm working in our favor. So shout out for everyone listening to that. We got some cool comments. So if you like that type of stuff, thanks for checking it out. I thought that was pretty cool. That was kind of a shout out. Also, big shout out to Sajko. We had a lot of technical difficulties that I'm thinking are passes, but he edited that video. So shout out Sajko.
Shout out.
Yeah, happy. Sorry for you guys, like listeners, that it ended up going later than anticipated because of that. For whatever reason, it took forever to export. Just like a lot of little behind the scene things that made it so. It's like just had to go up a little later than usual. But yeah, glad that it went out. And yeah, crazy that it has over 500 views. Like, really did not think that would be the case. But if I've learned anything from the comments, it's that people that love to listen about plastic and stuff like that love Castoplast, and they're all like, "Bro, why don't you do Castoplast?
Yes,
like we need Castoplast.
Even
next
your
time.
own wife.
Surprised Castoplast isn't here." Oh, I know.
Dude,
I know.
That was funny to see. She was joining in on the cat. She was hating on us.
Yeah, it's amazing, man.
Something.
So, how far back do we go? Worlds?
Yeah, Worlds. But I was gonna mention something real quick. You know what's something crazy is, that video. I checked that video like randomly. So I was like, oh wow, it's a lot more views than I was expecting. I checked it last night, and then I was like, oh, I wonder how Sajko's YouTube video is doing. So I checked it out because I like to support my boys, and there's something about that video where people are still commenting on it to this day. Like you hit like a heartstring with something there. It's kind of cool to see. Like I've never seen a YouTube video like that where it's like 7,000 views but 150 comments, and it's like comments like 1 day ago, 2 days ago, 3 days ago. Like people like that. So I thought that was really cool. That was like a topic that like everyone can just relate to.
Totally. Yeah, I think it's just about every single day that I get comments on it, which is pretty wild for me, and it being my first video. But yeah, I mean, all the comments are really people just sharing their experience with their lost discs, or even some people will leave some wild takes on there being like, I never give back a disc. And you're like, okay, cool. And
we have your full government name.
Yeah, now. Exactly. I've got your social security number, buddy. But yeah, glad that it's doing well.
But yes,
the second one will go up before the end of the year, hopefully. That would be great.
Sure. Well, I'll believe it when I see it, buddy.
Same deal. Yeah.
Here's the thing.
I'm a big YouTube boy for another round lately.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was gonna say. It's like everyone wants Sajko to edit all their videos, but who's editing Sajko's videos? He doesn't like
me, but slowly at a snail's pace.
That's what I'm saying. It's like everyone wants you to edit their videos, and then it's like, how are you gonna edit? Like you can't edit your own.
Isn't that what the saying is? Like something to the effect of like a carpenter's house like is the worst house because by the time they come home they're like, I'm not doing that. What the heck? They're like, I spent all day working on houses.
Yeah, exactly.
That's hilarious.
I feel you.
Yeah, I'll figure out the workflow at some point. I mean, we'll see what the future holds. Where maybe I'll have time that opens up. But coming up for my personal like day job, it's gonna get a lot busier because it's fall time.
Dude, just quit it. You're already famous.
Not
You're already
yet.
a famous disc golfer. Come on,
Not yet. We got to give it a few months and then maybe fingers crossed.
dude. Yeah, fingers crossed. Sure, because I think another round can get easily 100,000 subscribers like that, and you're the key. So
It's nice to see. Yeah, that's what I've been doing lately. Well, hey, transition. Speaking of another round,
transition.
Anthony Fantano. I got to.
Yes, go. You get me. You get me, brother.
So back to Worlds 3 weeks ago. Rewind.
Yes.
I finally got to go down and not only go to the World Championships, but I also got to hang out with all the another round boys and meet them for the first time.
Who's your least favorite?
Who's my least favorite of the crew?
I'm joking. Start drama right away.
Yeah, I didn't. I don't know. Like, I wouldn't have been able to go down to that. Let me start there, unless they like paid and helped me to go down. So that part is just like, just insanely grateful for, because I think it was actually the most important and best weekend or week, whatever, for disc golf related stuff in my life, which is pretty insane to think. It's like, oh yeah, this is like the exact thing that you have just been like working towards, and now it's happening. So going down there and meeting, I remember like pulling up to the Airbnb and Joseph's like, yeah, I'm here. And then he just comes out on the porch and I'm standing there and we just were like, my dog. It's just like automatic click, being able to like meet these guys. And like, I don't know if you guys know like the Warehouse Boys, like Avery.
I know
Luke.
Avery. Yeah, I've met both of them, but Avery, I've hung out with more because he came up to the expo.
Yeah. Avery and Luke, just automatically. It's funny because another round posted about Avery a couple days ago.
Yes.
Just being like, here's some behind the scenes stuff. And the moment that I met that man, I was like, oh, we're best friends now. Okay, got it. He's just such a like, he's really good at balancing like saying what's on his mind, but saying it in a funny way, but like being able to be truthful, but not in like a way that is inflammatory towards others. And like for someone like me, who I really appreciate people that are expressive and just say what they're feeling and whatnot, and are able to be sarcastic. It's just like chef's kiss. Yes, meeting those guys, and another round is owned by two individuals. Everyone sees Joseph like Frisbee Boy all the time,
KJ
and then you have Kyle. Kyle keeps it pretty low key, but he does like a ton of stuff behind the scenes, even though he's not behind the camera at all times. So even just like meeting him and just hearing like what all these guys came from and like what they've been up to, it's just like, sure, I've been like very supportive of another round, but now it's like I get the mission statement and I like am supportive of it and happy to contribute to it even beyond that. So yeah, really cool. But yeah, I guess like World Championships, man. Yeah, I don't know. Do you guys have any thoughts before I move on? Because I don't want to talk for like 5 minutes straight.
What did another round do primarily during the Worlds stuff?
So their thing,
what were you guys up to?
They were a platinum sponsor for the event, and so we went down. Sick. And we focused on like, I guess, media related stuff, but they also had a booth to vend and whatnot. So the goals for going down there is just trying to make as much content as we possibly could. So sure, it is covering stuff on the Pro Tour. Like another round has sponsored players, players that they sponsor. So kind of following along with them, getting some content. We played through on like some courses just for like some YouTube content. I have a vlog that went out a couple days ago on their channel that I ended up editing, that does like, it's like, okay, a little bit of this. And I do some like man on the street type stuff that's featured in that, and something kind of different for them. And then Ace Race. We did an Ace Race over there. If you guys know Peaks View Hole 3, like a very common spot that all those guys go to, like Connor from Foundation.
Yes.
Tried acing there before. So that hole, I think it's 180 feet, something like that. That is what I'm currently working on. Ace Race videos take the most time,
dude.
By far.
Can't say.
Who got it? Yeah, dude, I can't say that. What the heck? Just spoiled the whole thing.
I
yeah,
see.
They take the most time, but they provide an avenue for I think the most creative, just like being able to do the most creative things in it, like being able to like make jokes. And we did have multiple angles this time based on our conversation last time, where I'm recording stuff and just trying to like splice all that together and just see what I can come up with. So yeah, just cool to be a part of it, I guess.
Yeah,
You know,
dude,
on
that
top
sounds
of
sick.
just going to Worlds in general and meeting all those people that you talk to on the internet, and then you're like, oh yeah, these are real people. So yeah, it's
True.
cool. I mean, of course there are a bunch of great people. There are some people that you meet that you're like, maybe you see them online, and then you meet them and you're like, oh, well, that's not quite what I expected. But that's just bound to happen in life,
Ooh.
right?
Ouch.
I wish we could hear some names named, but I know we're not that kind of podcast, guys. We're
Yeah,
not those guys. We're not
yeah.
those guys.
I'm not trying to get like a reaction from these guys being like, these guys are too. No one. Let me say, no one is bad per se, but maybe it's more like maybe who they perform as, or I don't know. Sometimes when you're on camera, you act like a specific way, right? I think everyone
Mhm.
kind of does that. So I think when you meet them and it's completely different, you're like, oh, okay, this is not what I expected. Yeah, it's not like anyone's just being like, what's up? Dude, I almost said a bad word. I almost said a bad word. I caught myself.
No, I completely understand. Sometimes I worry a lot that I have a YouTube voice. So I intentionally, when I'm doing voiceover, like try to talk more normal, because
Hmm.
when I do my voiceovers for my shorts or for my full length videos, I definitely inflect a lot more. I'm trying to show emotion, trying to hype something up, whatever. So I definitely talk differently. And so I'm trying to find a balance between overdoing it and then my regular talking voice. Like I'd rather just VO in my regular talking voice all the time, but
VO.
it's voiceover. Sorry.
You've been
Oh, dude,
watching a lot of Colin and Samir, I can tell.
I have no idea what that is, but I got Anthony Fantano,
I
so
got
I'm
you.
okay with it.
I don't know who
Dude,
Anthony
you don't want to
Fantano
have
is.
a like a radio voice at all times where it's way over the top, and if you don't talk radio voice on the radio, it's like, oh, that's weird. It's like a
So,
little
Do
too
you
casual.
do you guys know who Mark Rober is?
of course.
He's a YouTuber, Sacco, if you don't know
Yes.
No,
who he is.
I'm a scrub.
Uh, but
He
he's a
does.
big YouTuber, and he has the most YouTube voice you've ever heard in his videos.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah,
the reason.
I think people are used to that though. Like
True,
that's why we all do
true.
it, right? It's almost like you listen for it.
Yeah.
The reason I said you've been watching Colin Samir because I was listening to an interview they were doing with Mr. Beast, and he was saying that he's starting before he would just yell in his videos and be like, "Look at this giant, whatever, we're gonna go up there," and then he started realizing like people connect more when it's like analytically he started realizing people connect more when it's like toned down, where it's like normal, where it's like normal
Mhm.
talking, not as like overhyped and stuff like that, kind of like what you're saying with the um YouTube. And they kept saying VO like all the time. That's why I said that. They're like VO, VO, VO.
That's
Josh,
funny.
you said that you were conscious about how you like speak in voiceovers and stuff like that. How is it that you think that people perceive you, or how are you trying to get people to perceive you based on like voiceovers and how you portray yourself in videos?
I mean, I want to portray my genuine self. That's part of the reason I
Okay,
think about how I'm talking in voiceover
right.
is because I just want to be like, here I am. Meet me in person. You get the same product. Essentially, what you're saying. Like, I want to be fully myself. So then there's no mismatch. And then
Right.
also, like, if I'm not being myself in my videos, then a year, 2 years from now, I'm gonna hate it. Like I'm
Mhm.
gonna hate the facade I'm putting on. But if I'm genuine and I'm just enjoying what I'm doing and putting that on camera, then it's way more sustainable and just more enjoyable for the viewer, hopefully, if they like who I am.
No,
So
completely.
that's the goal behind it. But yeah. That wasn't based on analytics. That's just more based on, I don't know, principles.
Just having humanity inside you.
Yeah, that when Ben said that, like, Mr. Oops, when Ben said that Mr. Beast determine that on analytics, it just kind of like struck a nerve in me. And I was like, bruh, like not everything, like don't just do what analytics tell you all the time, you know, like
It's Mr.
there's
Beast, dude. He's the
feelings.
biggest YouTuber.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah, but
saying
like
that's what he
yeah.
noticed. He noticed
but-
that he also noticed that there's more clicks on his thumbnails when his mouth is closed as opposed to going like open.
Yes.
That's all I was
Yeah.
saying. He just like you should see like he's the biggest YouTuber in the world, so he has a lot of like I know my friend applied for a position and his job, like, because they have like these they're a company, so you can kind of read the description. One of it was like content analysis, where it's like you see what's popping, what's the best, why these videos are blowing up and stuff like that. So like they get it down to like the granules of granules, like to make the best content but also the most eye-catching and popular, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that, but
Yeah,
like,
I respect it.
I respect it, and I mean, I use analytics. Like I've talked about analytics on this podcast a bunch, but I think there's a level to it where, like, the point of Mr. Beast saying now he talks more genuinely was only motivated by analytics.
Yeah,
like
dude,
that just
that's some
that just rubs
NPC behavior.
yeah, that just rubs me wrong, you know? And like, yeah, like I YouTube is the motto is broadcast yourself, you know. On its deepest level, YouTube is about community and building a community based on YouTube, right? And so if you are putting on a facade or only make decisions based on analytics, I don't think you're literally going against the foundation of YouTube. Not that it hasn't evolved and
Well,
changed, but
I think that was his whole
on like a
point.
philosophical level, you know, like I just don't vibe
Yeah.
with that kind of thing.
I think that was
Is
his
my
whole point,
I
though.
guess.
I think that was his whole point, that people relate more to the not fake part, where they vibe more with the
okay.
like his genuine self. That's exactly what he was saying. That people enjoy his
sure.
genuine self more, and he's proven. So you guys are saying the same thing, but he just noticed it, that people enjoy it more when it's just it's not like him screaming, "Look at this thing!" You know, this is you can all go
We
listen to the
understand
podcast.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can
I
go listen to the
misinterpreted
podcast. This
I
isn't
listened
it.
to it as well.
Knew it.
Yeah, because I was gonna say otherwise. Like, I feel like at like its most blunt level, doing something like this, it's kind of a creative outlet. And as corny as it sounds, you're kind of doing creative things to like feed your soul. And I feel like if you get too deep in those kinds of things like analytics, eventually it just kind of like, I feel like it can be easy to get burnt out because you're focusing on the wrong thing too often.
Yes, I agree. And I think I've said this in every episode, you know, like views
Say it.
matter. You have to have views, but like if you're only making a video because the analytics say to do the hook like this and you think it's going to perform, like do you really care about the video you're actually making? Like that's what it boils down to. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, my goal is to be a YouTuber, right? And I need to make money on YouTube to do that. But on a base level, I want to enjoy doing YouTube. If at a certain point I start making enough money to do YouTube, but I already sold the enjoyment of making YouTube videos for that, then it's not even worth it at that point, right?
Yeah, I think you
So.
get so deep at a point that my coworker always uses this scenario or example where they say it's like living in a bad neighborhood, where it's like eventually you get so used to it that you don't even see like things that happen around you. I think that goes for anything. Like I think you get so deep in analytics, you don't even know that you're analyzing what to do. Like, oh, when I make this face, like it's more human. You know, it sounds very detached from like creator and human being.
I guess it's so different. He's literally the biggest in the world, like 300 million. So it's different. You guys are just different YouTubers. He's trying to be the biggest YouTuber in the world. I feel like that's been his goal, and he is.
Mhm.
And to do that, I feel like part of that, you have to study what people enjoy. And I think at the essence, that's what we all do at the end of the day. Like, yes, we enjoy these videos, but I feel like there's some things we think like, oh, this video could probably be really good and get a lot of views, so I'm going to record it or something like that. I feel like there's an essence to that in all of YouTube. Otherwise, we would just be filming ourselves like just like
What's
doing
up?
nothing. I don't know.
Right. Anyways, Josh, how the heck did you get a buzzsaw, man? Did you like order that on eBay?
Dude, he's
or
famous.
Did someone give it to you?
That's why.
No, I was at Worlds. I went the
the
last
heck?
day, and I got some.
That's a lie.
I'm just kidding. Yeah,
I was about to
wasn't
say,
at
like, how would you not connect? I was like, how would you not tell?
Yeah, I
Sajko
would have for
about
sure
that?
hung out with Sajko. One of my friends, his name,
Anderson.
his name's Jono. He's
very
a homie, but he also has helped me get a few connections here and there. And he's actually, do you guys know MKBHD? I'm assuming Sajko, you do not.
I do not. I
Yeah,
live in a
Ben,
bubble.
do you?
I
Yes.
literally texted you in the group chat. You don't remember this about how?
Oh yeah, Andrew. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andrew, if you're listening to
Jonah-
this, which you said you were, shout out. We're gonna get you on.
Yes, but
Jono.
Jono works for MKBHD as well, and he was there and got me two buzz saws, and so I got them.
The heck?
Yeah,
I did not
dude,
get
pretty
any.
legendary. What? Did they sell out, or did you not want one, or?
A and B. I knew that they were
Okay.
selling them, and I had like some buddies that texted me being like, "My guy, you gotta pick me one up. Like those things are crazy." And I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, if I get there." Little behind the scenes. Another round didn't show up until the end of day 2 of Worlds, so I didn't get to go
Oh,
until
wow.
day 3 because they had my media pass. So I was like, I could
Ooh.
spend $25 to get in, but then there was like the weird thing where people couldn't bring in their phone, and I was like, I couldn't even do my job anyways. So it's like, why would I go? It doesn't like quite make sense. So yeah, anyway, needless to say, missed out on the buzzsaws. But cool that you got one. I saw people pick them up by like, I saw Bear Bite had like 6 of them. I was like,
I'm
man, is gonna
surprised,
sell
dude.
these for $100 a piece.
Sure, yeah, I'm sure he sold them for a lot of money, and now they are completely devalued because they just released the new 2 runs and teased the stock run, so
Of course.
they don't sell for anything.
No,
So
for
if you
real?
didn't sell yours already, you
Perfect.
can't do it.
Okay, anyone else's yeah, I guess we'll go back to Worlds. Anyone else's experience with Worlds? Did you guys watch? What were you guys up to?
Yeah, so like Ben said, I was in Arkansas on a bachelor trip, so super lame.
Oh my guy, come on.
I kept up with it, but not as much as I wanted to. But kind of crazy. I mean, are we talking about it or are we not? What are we doing?
Talk about
I'm down with
what?
talking about it as long as we're not.
Worlds?
Yeah, I'm down to talk about it a little bit, as long
Yeah,
as it's
dude.
not like way too late.
I
feel like
mean,
it's
let's talk
topical.
about it. But before we talk about it, I want to ask you, Sajko, who did you follow? What were you doing? Did you do league card? Like, did you watch some of this stuff?
Yeah,
live?
how'd you get
I'm
that
sure you
video
did.
of Isaac Robinson? They just allowed phones last day.
Oh, dude, I'm glad that you brought it up because that was like my proudest moment of being down there, is getting that moment where he looks over and he like raises his eyebrows towards, I don't even know who it was, like his fiance
dad.
or no, it wasn't his dad. His
Oh.
dad was behind him.
Oh,
But that moment that I caught that, I was like, "Yup, that's going in the edit." Yeah, I don't even remember the question because I was so stoked
Illegal?
about.
Illegal?
Oh, how was that? No, I had the media pass. So my big focus was day 3 when I was there. I was following like another round players. So I was following Jake Wolf at New London. I don't know if you guys had seen, but day 1, MPO, like A-Pool played New London. And Jake Wolf shot 7 down without throwing a single backhand on that course.
Wow.
That just breaks my brain to
Dude,
even
I feel like he's
consider that.
starting to get going. He's starting to show up.
My guy
which is
is
sick.
ripping. So I didn't see day 1. I saw day 3, and it's just
Oh,
one of those rounds where he's doing everything he was saying like the exact same, but it's just like slightly off. Like,
mm,
you guys know hole 6, pretty much like the signature hole on New London, where it's like the 1234.
yeah, the super hard hole.
Yeah, so you got like the corner shot. So
Yeah,
this is how you play hole 6 to get a birdie. He goes just a little flick roller, just boop right around the corner with a mid, and then he throws the craziest roller with an octane that goes all the way down to the corner before OB, throws a sidearm like to the green, boop, tap it right in.
he
I'd
birdied
watched
it.
the man throw a 550-foot roller just like beeline, just straight down. Um, just seeing those guys play that place, you watch it and you're like, oh, this course is easy. This course is soft. And between the two
Yeah,
courses, it ended up being that, but it's not soft. Um,
no.
yeah, so following him, awesome to see. Um,
Did you follow anyone else in another round sponsored, like Austin Turner or?
yeah, just like a little bit of Austin Turner. Saw a little bit of like Eric Oakley. Saw some uh, Parker Welk, and Parker and Austin also came out to the Ace race. So afterwards,
Oh, fun.
we went to Chili's, so I got to like meet them and talk with them like a little bit, which
Chill
was
with him.
yeah, a little bit. I mean, I don't like know them, so it's just you're like, oh, so how's it going? That kind of deal. But just try to do my
Yeah.
best regardless. Um,
Yeah, how was it for you as a self-proclaimed introvert? Did everything go chill?
yeah,
Do you have
no,
any
it was
introvert
actually
moments?
I think so. It was really cool meeting everyone from another round.
Yeah.
But a thing was, because we're trying to do a vlog, I'm like following everyone around and recording them.
Hmm.
Uh, so I feel a little creepy, honestly, doing that because I've never
Mm,
been put in that position before. But then you look at the
yeah.
footage and you're like, okay, it makes sense why you did that, and everyone understands why you're doing it. But in the moment, I was like, I feel like a weirdo just putting my phone in people's faces, recording everything. So I think that's really the only thing. I really tried to put myself out there on purpose. Like if you see the vlog that just went up, realistically, it didn't do that great on the Another Round channel, but that's fine. I don't think doing a vlog like that, you're really expecting it to do numbers like, oh, we had Big Germ, James Conrad, and all these people play doubles. Like that video did very well. But in it, yeah, like I did man on the street stuff, so I had to go up to like all these people and ask them questions and whatnot, and just see what their reactions are. And so, yeah, I'm introverted, but I know how to talk to people. I feel like I have to just force myself out of my comfort zone, and I think it all kind of works out. But yeah, last round, going after like Evelina for FPO, I'm little kind of behind the scenes. I wasn't in trouble, but people were like getting mad at me because they're like, who the heck is this? Get behind the line. And I'm like, bro, I got a media pass. I'm not trying to like flex on these kids, but I was like, I'm not just here. Like I'm trying to like do part of my job. So it's weird because I'm like trying to do my job for another round, but then these guys
Hmm.
were yelling at me simultaneously. But then Joseph ended up leaving early. I guess the next day was his son's first day of school, and he was like, the one thing I want you to get is I want you to get Isaac Robinson's final hole. So that's when I was like, dude, I don't care what it takes. I'm getting up there and I'm getting this footage. And
Yeah.
yeah, the moment I got it, I was like, okay, he tapped out. I'll record for a little bit. I not even kidding. I think it took me 30 seconds to get back to the parking lot and get in my car, and I just blasted out of there. And I'm like, okay, dude, here's a sheets. I pull into the parking lot. I edit the footage, and I'm like, I have to put this up before everyone else does. Now, obviously not
Yeah.
PGA because they're just there like waiting to click like, oh, okay, wow, Isaac Robinson. But
One. Yeah.
yeah,
That's
I'm
crazy.
glad that did super well because I was very proud of it. And you look in the background of those videos, and I'm just there like front and center, like trying to record, and I'm like, yes, yes,
Oh, so that one performed well on another rounds. I'm sure it
yeah.
did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't been doing really any Instagram stuff for another round lately. I've just been straight YouTube boy, but that was the one that I did put up, and it's just nice to contribute to the overall success
Dude,
of, or not
that sounds
success.
high, man. I do not know what kind of content I would put out if I went to Worlds.
You mean
I would feel
as
so
like
weird
as like yourself, or as like contributing to like an organization?
if I went to Worlds as myself. Like, I'd almost feel obligated to make a video, at least a short. But
Yeah.
like, I honestly don't know what I would make. Like, I guess my goal would be just to make it to Worlds by the time that I'm just playing, because then that's a simple video.
Hmm. Yeah, those first 2 days, little miscommunication, I guess, on my part is I didn't know that they weren't showing up until the night of day 2, like I said. So I had 2 days there just by myself, and I was like,
Oh, really?
yeah, I was like, oh, what do I do? So I ended up,
Yeah.
dude, honestly, I just went around and played all the courses and just like filmed content and whatnot, and got to like hang out with some people. So I guess some sort of like me stuff while I
Yeah.
wait for those guys to show up. So I got to play. I guess I'll say you see all these courses obviously because of Foundation, and I think the one that probably goes under the radar the most, and I think probably had the most fun there was Camp Hideaway. Are you familiar with that
Hmm.
one, Josh?
I watch their videos, but I don't know the course names very well.
Okay.
That one's kind of
Well,
wooded.
super wooded.
Yes, I think I know which one you're talking about.
Um, yeah, very wooded course, and I don't know. I get why people don't go there because the parking lot, you pretty much have what feels like a half-mile walk, like downhill to get down to the first tee pad, and
Nice.
then it's not like a place I would bring, like my friends and family, like, oh, let's go for like a nice casual round. But in that moment where I was by myself and I'm like, I'm just prepared to go play some disc golf this morning, like get outside.
Yeah,
I don't think I could have played like a better course. And
that's sick.
everything's clicking. I'm like, dude, I am just a Greek god right now, just shredding this course. It didn't last. Don't get me wrong, but for that moment, I was like, man, it felt good. You're like, man, life just makes sense.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't want to keep talking about my experience of Worlds. I'm happy about it. I'm proud of it, and I'm glad that I got good stuff out of it. But I want to hear about what you guys have been up to as well.
Well, we need to talk about what actually happened. I guess we can just mention it real quick, but Isaac Robinson taking it down kind of wire to wire almost. Like, he didn't it didn't seem like it was out of his hands the entire time, in my opinion. Um Very impressive. And then, yeah, what do you
Yeah,
guys think?
just of Isaac Robinson or like the
Or
at the
anything
top.
world, yeah, yeah.
I feel like the big thing that you got
NPL,
to talk about was Luke Taylor. Just all of a sudden, it's like I'm here.
yeah,
Sure,
for
he's
real.
been like in contention a little bit, top tens and whatnot. But then this is the first time where now people are like, oh yeah, that's Luke Taylor. Like they see him at I think they played like CCR since we last talked in Worlds, and then we had DGLO last week, and it's like, oh yeah,
Yeah, and
that's
he
Luke
did well.
Taylor. Now
Yeah.
he's like a known. That's all it takes, man. I say that's all it takes, and he's on lead card at a world championship, but he didn't even win, and people know him, and I feel like he was the big thing aside from Isaac.
Yeah. It seems like on the Pro Tour, you just need to get on lead card at a big event once, and you have name recognition, which is pretty cool.
Right,
I
Ben?
dig it.
How was your Worlds experience or anything else otherwise?
Uh, Worlds was fine. I was also traveling. So I was
What?
in another country of Canada. So I didn't, when you're traveling, you get to enjoy. You don't really get to watch. But I like tried to watch some of it. Obviously caught up on Jonas, but yeah, I think it's incredible that Isaac won, and it really solidified kind of his place in disc golf history. I mean, he's already solidified, but I feel like there's always rumors in the beginning of the year, like, oh, like, because he was not playing that well. Like, oh, Isaac, was that a fluke or whatever? Like, is he the real deal? And then he just comes in and wins the world championship. We also we were talking about, we got to mention Evelina. I mean, we haven't mentioned the FBO side. That
I know.
was, I don't want to say even more incredible, but it's incredible in a different way because she took down Kristen Tatar, who probably everyone and their mother had winning this event. And she showed out and she won by missing I keep saying incredible, but an insane amount of putts, which just shows you how dominant she is on driving. So I thought that was pretty funny and cool to see that she's a world champion. And yeah.
She should make shirts regarding that win. Something about like, everyone says throw for show, putt for dough. Maybe they should do like the opposite and just put out shirts that have that show. Because, that would be sick. Are you kidding me?
Show,
I'd cop that up immediately.
Another round.
That's a pretty good
Work
idea.
On it.
Evelina. I'm trying not to give any bias, but Evelina was always the person that I watch, and anytime that she would come to Maple Hill, I would watch her because she's probably my favorite FPO player to view. Just like she just throws so hard, like she's explosive and she's got both sides of the game. Sure, the putting, everyone talks about it, but it just creates almost like an underdog story. But then you have this year where, was that her third win this year?
Yeah, she's kind of going off.
She's won a lot. I don't know if it's third, but it should be around there regardless.
Funsie fact.
Yeah, exactly.
Could be third. You might be spot on. I'm just saying I don't want to say anything for sure because I personally don't know.
It just blows your mind because it's almost like Calvin. Like you see Calvin making all these mistakes over and over again. And you're like, Calvin, how'd you do that? And then you're like, oh wait, he's in third place.
Oh wait, he won.
Yeah, I mean that's the Evelina effect right now, and everyone, we're so used to Kristen's dominance, and we're not quite seeing that. Married Kristen is obviously she's not slacking. I don't think she played well this week. Let's say she didn't play this week. She didn't play well at Worlds
this week. She didn't play that well either. But
she still ended up taking third.
I know, but in Kristen standards, it's different. It's like, yes, right. She plays incredible, but we've been expecting her to win. I mean, not anymore, but last season it was like, if you didn't pick her to win, you were dumb, basically.
Yeah, you're a freaking idiot, dude. The heck else? Did anyone watch DGLO? Is there anything else that you guys want to cover? Even just personal things? Dude, I haven't been freaking 3 weeks. Say something.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't given updates really at all.
Hit me with it.
Yeah, I think, so I've been in a pretty good cadence recently with posting. So about a month ago, I posted my last tournament as an amateur disc golfer. And then 2 weeks later, I played a tournament with only an Aerobi Epic. And then I will have a video out next Monday. So I'm hitting a little bit of a stride in terms of posting full-length videos, which has been pretty nice and pretty unheard of for me because it takes a lot of effort for me to put out a full-length video, probably 40, 50 hours of editing. And I have just been pretty proficient recently, and I'm liking it. I'm digging it. I'm digging it.
What do you think changed? You think you've just gotten faster because you've done it so many times that you know what you look for? Or what have you changed?
A few things. So part of it was all of these videos I filmed, like I just had them in the bank. Like right now, the video I'm posting on Monday, I filmed a few weeks ago when I was in Michigan. And then my next video is already filmed as well, and I'm already editing it. So I'm getting better about not just working on one video at a time. I have multiple videos going at once. That way, if I get burnt out on one, I can move to a different one and still be very creative, very useful with my time. And then I think a few episodes ago, I talked a little bit about my creative process and how I approach editing. And I think I've gotten really good about getting locked in and staying locked in on an edit. Partially because I've been really excited about what I've been doing recently. And partially because I've been discipline and use good self-control to be in an edit, have like a thought that's, hey, hop on Instagram or, waste some time, but instead kicking that out and then keep going and finding that groove and getting a lot done. And um
Come
dude,
on
I'm
now.
just hyped. I'm hyped to make YouTube videos. I love disc golf. I also, well, I played the Arobi Epic tournament. I shot 888, which I'm not even mad about, honestly. Like
Straight
with
up.
an Arobi Epic, I was fine with it. I was like, whatever, that's okay. So I thought my rating was gonna drop this month. I was at 962, and I played a flex start last week, so just a 1-round tournament,
Mhm.
and I missed two 15-footers. I had a 25-foot birdie putt, clanked it, rolled down the hill, took a double bogey. I was not happy with how I played, but I still shot 977. So I was like, sick.
Yeah,
That's
that dude, I was
For
I'm
putting
not
in the
literally
work.
happy. I'm not happy with that at all. Like I probably should have shot -6, -7, like just based off of my throws. My putting was atrocious that day. And I still shot -1 and shot 977. And so I was like, sick. If that's my floor, that's hype. And so I
dude,
actually ended up only dropping one point. So I'm at 961.
I
But
dropped 1.2.
970s coming soon,
That's
baby.
what I was about to say, Jay
Easy.
Millie. You posted on your story like, "Oh, tough day on the links today. Bummed about my round," and it was like 977 right now. I'm like, what is this kid talking about? That's literally what I thought. I'm like, bro,
Maybe laugh.
this guy know what a bad round means?
Yeah. I do know what a bad round means. I know what a bad round means,
Maybe
but
that is your bad round.
that
I'd
was a
like to
rough
get to
round
that
for me.
point. I'd like to get to
Yeah.
that point. Maybe Texas
But that
just inflated. There, I said it. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah. That was pretty hype. And that was it was a flex start, but that's my first MPO tournament kind of, and I cashed. So very cool.
Lego,
So
son.
why didn't you do any of like the amateur world circuits or like amateur whatever they have, like the one at Toboggan, the one at that was in Michigan, just not at Toboggan, you know.
Well, that answer is twofold. First of all, I don't this brings up a whole conversation for
US
me,
amateur and
honestly.
amateur worlds. This is what I'm talking about. Sorry. I
Yes.
had to think of it.
Yes.
Go ahead.
This brings up a whole conversation for me. It's twofold. I didn't know about it, and second of all, I think I'm good enough to play an MPO now, so there's no reason to worry about it. But the big conversation it brings up for me is I do not think that I don't think that playing tournaments is very low barrier to entry. I get so many messages about how to play in a tournament. You almost have to know someone who has played in a tournament before to figure it out. Like you can't like you have to know how to go on disc golf scene, get a PGA number. You have to know all that stuff. And the only way you know that, I don't know. I just don't think that the PDGA does a good job marketing it and how to like sign up and play a tournament. And then second of all, I don't think that the amateur worlds, amateur circuit, all that, NADGT, all that stuff.
What are you about to say?
I don't think they do a very good job marketing themselves and like trying to draw people to play them and be like, hey, come get an amateur worlds. Like, here's the path to being a pro. Like, I think they could do a way better job of like, hey, do you want to go pro as a disc golfer? Start in this NADGT, follow this pathway, and we can get you there. Like, I didn't know about it until I stumbled upon it. Like it almost seems like they just hope word of mouth works. They need to figure out, in my opinion, they need to figure out a better way to say, hey, follow this route, come this way, play our tournaments, do this, and you can make it to a pro one day. Or maybe not. Maybe you just want to play MA2 and play in the amateur MA2 championships. Like I just think a lot of those things aren't marketing very well, and the barrier to entry is too high, you know?
Mm-mm.
I'm planning on making a video about it at some point where it's like how to play your first disc golf tournament or something. Because when I tried to play my first disc golf tournament, it was super hard for me to figure it out, and I accidentally paid like an extra $50 or $100 to PDGA because I thought I had to.
Wait,
They're
what?
like pocketing
Explain
that.
that.
Cool.
You gotta explain that.
When I was signing up for my PDGA number,
Oh, you did the Ace Club or whatever?
yeah, I signed up for one of the clubs
Oh,
because
you
when
turd.
I was reading through the like things, it had something about like eligibility to play. I don't know. It had some stupid bullet point that made me think that I had to do it. And so I did it. And then right after I
Oh.
realized that I didn't need it. And I was like, and all I got was this stupid disc that says Birdie Club. You know, like what the heck is that?
So cool.
Hey,
Don't you
welcome to the
dare.
club.
So I guess talking to Kyle from another round when I was down in Virginia, he was saying like I think we kind of like to crap on Emporia, and I don't even think the tour is going there next year. But supposedly back when it was before Dynamic Disc Open and it was called Glass Blown Open, I guess that was like a huge deal. Like
Yeah, the
everyone
Fly
looked forward
Mart.
to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was
Everyone looked forward
massive.
to it every single year. Yeah, like Ben saying, the Fly Mart, and there was the pro scene that was there, but then also the amateurs were playing at the exact same time.
Correct.
So it's kind of this cool experience for as like an amateur or just like random Joe Schmo, you can hang out with like all these pros. I mean, there's essentially like 5 restaurants, I think he was saying. So everyone's going to the same restaurant. So you go in, you're like, oh, there's Paige Pierce. Let's talk with her, just whatever. And then over time, for whatever reason, they just started getting rid of that. I think a couple of years ago, Dynamic ended up getting rid of the amateurs, and that's when people were posting being like, there's no one at this tournament. So it was a little sad to hear about how like the decline that has been happening for that tournament, because it was so beloved. Like coming into the sport in 2020, didn't know that at all. I would just be like, yeah, it's that place out in nowhere that's like kind of boring.
Here's my cold take. The tour just outgrew it, in my opinion. It's just, back then it was probably very cool because it was a lot tougher. Not as many great people. And I guess the people that were great, like that were dominant and good, they're also way better now, if that makes sense. So I think the tour just outgrew it, where everyone's just attacking it and scoring really well, and it's kind of like the same thing over and over. It's in an open field. So I think that's what it comes down to. I mean, we see it with a bunch of these courses that, like, you know, the tour is starting to outgrow as people are getting way better at disc golf, scoring better, and throwing further.
Yeah, but then you have a place like Idlewild, which is, I don't want to say it's holding on by like a thread, but that's always one that people are like, how long do you think it's going to last? How long do you think it's going to last?
I think because it's unique, you know? I think the woods give a course uniqueness, whereas open fields, it's maybe even not open field. It's just like Emporia would still be on tour if there was you play whatever it's called, the golf course, whatever it's called, Jones something.
I don't
Jones
know.
West?
Jones East, Jones West. I don't remember.
Maybe why am I blanking? And then you could go into the woods, kind of like at Worlds. I think Emporia would still be on the tour. It's just they can't because they're in Kansas. So I think that was their biggest struggle. Like, it's like, oh, we're playing 2 courses that are pretty much the same thing. It's not like not like Brewster and Fox Run, where I think that's why those courses are so highly acclaimed. If it was just Fox Run and then Box Run, like same idea, it wouldn't be as highly acclaimed. It's the fact that that joint is there of one of the best wooded courses in the world and one of the best open courses. Is
there a tiny part of you guys that wishes that you could see, because so De La Viega used to be on the Pro Tour. Is there one tiny part of you that wishes that it was still on there so you could watch modern day pros just shred it? I think that would be fun to watch.
I liked De La Viega, and I always thought there was a lot of just random stuff happen that I was like, ah, that's funny that his disc hit the basket and rolled 200 feet down the hill. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, that'd be an awesome place to go out to. But yeah, another example, just going back and seeing like the old like Central Coast videos and Champs versus Chumps, and you just see like, oh yeah, this is like a staple of the tour. And yeah, just another example, like Ben said, just things are getting outgrown, just moving on. And I don't know, I don't even know where we're going. I know I think for a
Eagles
little while
crossing.
it's like, yeah, yeah, don't people complain that it's like in the middle of nowhere? Is that what the issue is that
Dude,
people
It
well,
is
have?
kind of in the middle of nowhere.
we tried to have the $1 million skins or whatever, and it was there was, well, I will say this: the company that they hired was a sham, so I feel for them on that. But even so, yeah, they just couldn't get the fiber optics there to actually even broadcast that.
Yeah, and then like, is GK only doing skins right now? Like they're not doing anything else?
Well, like Gatekeeper's not even doing Pro Tour stuff anymore. I think they started, and then they realized, like, this is just my opinion because I noticed it. I, they started to do like highlights since Jomez since they weren't doing chase card. They were doing like highlights of the chase card, and it would get like 3,000 views. Like, and I think it had to be like the week after or something like that, where it was just like it. So now they're focusing more on local events and like A tiers and events like that. So I think that's just what happened. The Pro Tour signed with Jomez. It's their media,
Yeah.
and they want full control and to make all the money out of it. Business wise, it makes sense. The only unfortunate thing for me is I really miss watching chase card post coverage because there just isn't any anymore. Sometimes the chase card was just way better than the lead card. It's just like that's the unfortunate part.
There's one that I always go back to. It's a Ledgestone 2021 chase card. Yeah, it's like Andrew Marweed, Eagle McMahon, uh can't oh, it's old Cole Radallen and someone else that it's escaping me right now. But for whatever reason, because they were playing over at Blackwood, or was that
Northwoods.
Northwood? Oh my good. Playing Northwood, just, and they all were playing super well. Oh, Calvin, he was the other one. Yeah, if for whatever reason you're like, I got nothing to do right now, go check that out and just watch them all shred it. Just be in like the most egregious spot ever, and then you're like, oh, okay, apparently that's a birdie. Got it. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, I kind of agree, Ben. And then I think like Ace Run Pro, I don't even think it was that long ago, like a couple months ago, they're like, hey guys, the rest of our tour on the Pro Tour, like we're basically, they were like cut. They're like, yeah, I guess we're done now.
Oh
So it's
yeah.
okay. Yeah, I didn't make that up. Cool. I was
Yeah.
like,
I,
I'm
I
pretty sure
remember
that
that.
happened. But okay, that makes me feel a little bit better. Yeah, all
Yep.
these guys
I
struggling.
mean, not to flame, but kind of goes along with what I was already talking about. I think the Pro Tour does some stuff incorrectly as well. So we're still in our fledgling
Oof.
state as a sport. So we can cut them
Yeah.
some slack.
I
Yeah,
think they to keep growing they need to make money, and I think media is a big part of that. So I think that's kind of the decision that was made, where instead of having these other companies have access to the rights, that they can just own the rights outright and make money off of that. Um, I'm guessing since they acquired Jomez, I'm guessing the benefit was greater, that they could make more money off of the media rather than the Gatekeeper. I'm pretty sure spent 500, and Jomez before they retired, 500 grand for 2 years of recording.
yeah,
So they got to
yeah,
a point where it was no longer free. They had to pay to record. So I understand. I mean, we see it's not a surprise. We see this in major sports. There's one, like Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football, Friday Night Football, Sunday. One broadcasting company has rights to that, and they bid for it every single year. So I understand the reasoning why, but yeah, it is also a bummer that, Andrew Fish and Nathan Queen aren't whispering in my ear and saying,
Yeah.
those people shouldn't be on the fairway when when Matteo parked it on 18 and I jumped over the fence. So I missed that.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. And when on Maple Hill, I jumped over to congratulate Matteo, like, yeah, because it was just in the moment. I was hyped. Like, so backstory, I was Matteo's caddy in 2021. He was on lead card, final round, Maple Hill. I was his caddy. So I felt this personal connection, and Casey White and I think Trevin jumped over, and I thought a bunch of people were jumping over. I thought there was like 50, and it was just them and then me. And I didn't know until like after, and I was like, oh. But it was still cool. It was a cool moment for me. It was just like in the moment, you're just hyped.
For
Like,
you.
what? Is that a bad thing? Like, it was a cool moment for me that I got to.
It's just funny. Like it's definitely Matty O's moment, but you're like, oh, it was a cool moment for me.
Ben,
Well,
Ben
yeah, I feel
low-key
like it
runs
was a cool
Maple Hill.
moment for me for Matty to park it and to celebrate with him. Like I like you could see it in there's like if you go on Gatekeepers thing, and that's where Andrew Fish comes in and says, there's a lot of people on the fairway that shouldn't be on there, or something like that.
And you took offense to that.
No, I didn't take offense. I just thought it was funny. What? Anyways, let's move on to this because before I forget.
Yes.
show us your disc. Serious time now.
My disc?
Behind you, Sajko.
Oh, dude, I got
Yes.
my boy. How did you even see that, Ben? This is one of those things that we started doing at like the beginning of this series, and I still do it, but we probably talk about it like 50% of the
We
episodes
don't
at
highlight
this
it,
point.
which is fine.
But dude, we've got, maybe people have seen me talk about it on Instagram, or I may have even mentioned it on here before. But our buddy Brian Buckley, shout out to him. He is struggling with leukemia currently, and it's very upsetting because he's one of the genuine friends that I have made, Ben has made in this sport, and you just don't want to see anyone have to go through that, let alone one of your friends. So he ran some of these discs with Hooligan. Very cool. Their vibes. I believe there are still some on Hooligan's website if you want to grab one to support his treatment. If you just want to talk about the disc itself, it's I think it's like a proto color glow or something like that, if I remember correctly. They feel incredible. They fly really good, but even better, they support someone in the community and one of our really good friends, if you feel so inclined. Ben, any thoughts on your end?
So Brian diagnosed leukemia. Good news is he caught it super early, so it's looking positive. He doesn't have to take any chemo or anything like that. But yeah, go support him. There's still some vibes, Hooligan vibes, and the proceeds go to him and his fight against leukemia. He's on the Hooligan disc team, that which me and Sajko are a part of, and he's from New England. So check that out.
Also, regardless, he's just like a really good person. If you wanted to hang out with someone, you could hit up Buckley. If you had a problem and you wanted to talk about something, you could also hit him up. I mean, there's that already like checks two boxes that you can't do with necessarily every person in your life.
Yes.
So by all means.
Now I'm realizing that we were supposed to play today. He texted.
I was not able to.
Yeah. So I guess that just didn't happen. Maybe he got busy, but I just realized, like, dang, we were supposed to play today. But that's fine. Anyways, I think that was, unless we have anything else, we're an hour in. I think that was a solid episode. Catch up time.
I think so.
And we'll get back to our regularly scheduled program. Oh, also, by the way, shout out to everyone who's been reaching out to us and saying they love the podcast. I did not realize, like they say, the face behind the numbers. I did not realize how many people actually do listen to this podcast, because it's like you see 200 views and you think our YouTube brands is like, oh, that's not a lot. But, people, those are 200 different people, and especially per week. So we appreciate everyone who's listened to this. I'll just go shout them out. So if you want to shout out, DM us, Funsie Pod, or DM me, or DM J Millie, or DM Sajko, say, hey, I really like the podcast, whatever you want. So this why'd you just look like that, James?
I don't even know what Ben's talking about.
He really wouldn't like this.
Oh, I was chewing on my lip.
You're like, yo, I gotta clip that. Anyways, Andrew Manginelli. I'm recording a podcast, Dad. Thank you. Jefferson from Disc Golf World. And I believe that's everyone who has told me shout out so far. If I forgot you, DM me. But and whoever said it at Worlds, Sajko, we appreciate it. I just want to, I know I'm just want to give up my gratitude. It's really cool that you guys are listening to this, and that's why we do this, because we love it, but too, we want to share it with you guys, and we want like a community. So thank you.
Yeah, echo every bit of that sentiment. Like Ben said, people came up to me at Worlds being like, I like Funsie Pod. And you're like, what the heck? You listen to our little podcast?
We
like
feel
this
small,
is us
cool.
Kind of hanging out each week, and sure, you put it out there, but you don't realize that there are people that are like active ears listening to the dumb things that we talk about.
That listen to every
That's
episode.
what I mean.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like I don't feel like I'm anyone like why are you listening to us? But I'm grateful that people are, and yeah, people saying like, oh, I love it. What's up? And it's like you just feel re-energized. You're like, okay, I'm gonna keep doing it.
Mm-hmm. And that's how I felt when I saw our tier list thing get to 500. I thought to myself, like, bro, like I gotta start posting more videos on my own channel. Like people enjoy this stuff, and like I just was like, it gave me like a little spark. Like, bro, I gotta get back to it, which made me start editing this video that I'm working on.
Let's go, Ben.
So, but yeah, I'm actually teaching my fiance how to edit. I think that's my biggest block with content. I can create content all day. Can't edit all day. Just what it is, just who I am. I just don't enjoy editing that much. So I'm teaching my fiance. Hopefully she can be the mini Sack Millie, baby. So I'm seeing if she can. She started editing another video of mine, and she's already pretty solid. She's cutting together good clips, cutting out the fluff where I'm just like, So it's been
that's awesome.
But I'm teaching her slowly. So yeah, everyone, if you haven't got anything from this episode, get married. That's one thing you should take. Yes.
Boom.
They support you. Amen.
They definitely do.
Also,
ideally.
Yes. Also, in other news, sorry, I'm gonna keep going. Other news, I found my dad's wedding ring. I lost it 3 years ago. We thought it was gone. I found it the other day, so that's another great thing that happened in my life. So, shout out to my dad. I'm sorry. I knew you were really disappointed to me when I lost that ring, but I restored that disappointment the other day. I just randomly found it. We thought we lost it in the Philadelphia streets. It's a big story. Anyways.
Yeah, hey, unimportant to everyone, but like my wedding band was my grandfather's wedding band. So he gave it to me.
Cool.
He gave it to me and then just got it resized, and yeah, I'm really happy that I can wear it now.
Yo, I might take that.
Go for it,
I might
man.
be like, yo, I kind of, because I'm very sentimental about that stuff. Like, so I like kind of wearing, or not wearing, just like kind of.
Yeah, when you remember what it is, it makes you. It really just gives clarity in the moment.
Yeah,
wow.
Yo, I might take it right off your finger, Sajko.
I'm gonna bite that right off, dude.
And I'm gonna put it on my finger.
Oh, let's go.
You guys could be in holy matrimony.
That feels like a good spot to end.
I'm already married.
That's true.
Yeah, dude, you're the only one that isn't.
I know,
right,
but I'm getting married.
End.
Yeah, I know.
We're off the
I know.
deep end.
I know.
Okay.
Thanks for bringing.
We better
us back,
both get
J-Mo.
invited to the wedding.
Yes.
No, of course. You guys better show up. Looking at you, J-Mill.
Okay, thanks everybody for watching. This was Funsie. We'll see you next week. Funsie.
See ya. Peace out.